everybody. Welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson,
I'm Nick Kinsel.
And I'm Tom Hobley.
and we are going to be discussing Darlington and Bristol coming up this weekend. But before we dig into all that, let's start off with our diecast of the week. Tom, you got a whole new setup with all your diecasts displayed out, so let's go to you first, buddy.
I finally, you guys got me into collecting diecasts, so I finally ponied up and got a way to display them. So I guess my diecast of the week will be my new background for the show with all the most random assortment of diecast you'd ever seen.
I like it, man. It looks great.
Thank you.
All right, Nick, what'd you bring for us today, buddy?
So baseball season got underway recently, and the number 8 has been in conversation for the last week or so. So I thought I would bust out my Dale Jr. 2002 All-Star Game car. We all heard the stuff about the number 8 with Lamar Jackson and everything. It's stupid, but this is the real number 8 right here.
Yep, that's for damn sure. All right, for my diecast of the week, I'm actually going to kind of go on the same way you guys have been doing for the past few weeks. I'm going with a 164, and it's one that I picked up this weekend. Dale Jr.'s Sun Drop late model. I got this at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. I thought it was pretty sweet. My first late model 164. Had to do it for Dale.
Excellent. Diecasts are going to be a little bit more expensive for the time being, so
yeah.
Guess he'll have to buy used for now. Buy used.
For real. All right, guys. So let's dig into some of our top stories here. So Nick, you did kind of mention it. Lamar Jackson, he was planning on suing Dale Earnhardt Jr. over the copyright of the number 8 at Junior Motorsports. But it's not the Bud 8. It's the old Junior Motorsports 8 that Josh Berry won in a bunch. So Dale Jr. looked at it and just said, well, we're not using it. They got rid of it, so they don't have to waste their money on dealing with Lamar Jackson, who's trying to coin number 8.
When this news first came out, I was like, before I'd read the headline, if you asked me what number Lamar Jackson wore in the NFL, I think it would take me 3 guesses to actually, I don't know, is he 12? Is he 16? Is he 8? Like, I don't know. So I thought it was funny. I'm glad it's not the Bud 8. I hope he wouldn't lose if it were the Bud 8, but who knows? Just a weird one.
Yeah, pretty ridiculous. And then also in the news, Legacy Motor Club is suing Rickware Racing for dropping out of selling a charter to Legacy at the end of this season. We know that Rickware Racing is leasing a charter over to RFK Racing, and they were planning on selling one to Legacy, but they dropped out. And now more legal action with NASCAR teams. It's getting ridiculous lately, you guys.
Yeah, I guess the problem is I guess Rick Ware thought they were agreeing to 2027. Legacy was saying they agreed to 2026, so it could cause a wide array of problems with RFK having their third car. I didn't realize they didn't actually buy a charter. I thought they had bought that outright. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, if the contract doesn't in fact say 2026, they're kind of stuck. They have to sell, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And then they've agreed to lease the other charter out for a year. So Rickware Racing, if they lose this, they could cease to exist in NASCAR for at least the 2026 season.
You know, all of this could be solved if we just got rid of the charter program. But who knows? But guys, let's get into Darlington from this past weekend. Me and Patrick made our way out there. We stayed with our buddy Dalton Good up in Lexington, right by Welcome, North Carolina, where the RCR shop is. So we did a tour of all the shops. It was really damn cool. Got to see all the behind the scenes. Got to go to the Hall of Fame. Definitely, you guys got to make that trip out there. It's the coolest thing ever.
It was a blast when I was out there for the 600 and just walking through the shops. And I mean, you can get pretty up close to a lot of the teams, even some of the bigger teams. you may not expect to be so close. I was walking through all the front row haulers on fan day and whatnot, and it was just cool. I ran into Richard Childress walking through the RCR halls. Um, People just pass through. Recently, Joe Gibbs has been, after their drivers win, they just come out to the lobby for a little bit and hang out with fans. So just go out to the race shop, go see it. Can't recommend it enough.
Yep, that's definitely on my bucket list now. And if you make that trip to Darlington next year, I will absolutely. I am not missing this one. It looked like you guys had way too much fun.
Yeah, we're planning either Darlington next year or doing the 600. Either way, we're going to be going out to the Carolina area, but that'll be a lot of fun. Coolest one, coolest shop experience was Junior Motorsports because we literally got there right before they were starting a tour. And the tour was free. We got to walk through the entire Junior Motorsports shop. We saw Carson Quapple and Jamie McMurray doing a little bit for the CW since Carson was doing a throwback to Jamie. We just saw them talking and we were like, oh, damn, that's pretty cool. Got to see, all the win banners up. It's insane how many times Junior Motorsports has won in the Xfinity Series. That was cool. And then going through the RCR Museum, I gotta say that was the coolest part about the trip. There was just so much about Dale. It was awesome. They still had Dale Earnhardt's hauler that brought him to Daytona in 2001. They parked it in the shop and just left it as is, and you can walk through it. It is so damn cool.
Yeah, there's so many old Dale cars in there and just a lot of history. And I mean, that shop wouldn't have been there without Dale. So um, it's a very nice tribute to Dale Earnhardt and his legacy with RCR.
Yeah, and fun fact, the museum was the old RCR shop grounds, so they still have Richard's old office in there, still as is. Looks really cool in there. He has an entire hunting exhibit inside the museum as well. You just walk in, and there's like all the animals that he killed. There's a giant ass grizzly bear, dude. It's freaking crazy. And it's just like along with like all the cars. I saw Kevin Harvick's Daytona 500 win. They had his Atlanta win from 2001. Just a lot of nostalgia going through there, seeing almost every single car that Dale Earnhardt drove, and all the history throughout there. It was so cool.
Yeah, they do a good job of preserving stuff there, and they understand the history and longevity of that team. And it's a really nice facility. I just wish that they made faster cars still.
Right. But yeah, I will say the shops that you don't really there's not too much that you can look through. 2311, it's really just like the lobby. You can go upstairs and kind of look down into the shop, but really not a whole lot. No gift shop or anything like you would expect other teams to do. Kind of the same thing with Trackhouse, a little bit smaller as well. But I mean, they just started, so still some history to build up. But Darlington, that was a cool track to check out. It was just wild. To compare it to a track I've seen before, it just seemed like Gateway with more banking. It really felt like that.
Mm. Is that like the ambiance and like the atmosphere there? Because I mean, even Dale Jr. on his show was saying his dad would walk into Darlington and man, he'd say like this feels old school and whatnot. And I can only imagine that they've really kept that character and whatnot. It being one of the oldest tracks.
So the
in the
area,
series, so
the area around it really felt like Martinsville when me and
mhm.
Nick went there. It's just like in the middle of a neighborhood. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
really weird, but
Yeah.
it's old school. It's awesome. And just watching those guys just ripping that line or ripping the wall in person is absolutely
Mhm.
insane. And it was funny. Dalton had to work that weekend. He was working there Saturday. And right when I saw Austin Hill scrape the wall during qualifying, I was like, well, time for Dalton to go to work. He had to patch up
What
the
was
21.
Oh, is he's doing like raps
Yep, he had to patch
at
them
the
up.
track?
Yep.
Okay.
Only for
Interesting.
Darlington. He was helping someone out this past weekend, but for
Gotcha.
the Southern 500, he's going to be on his own for it. So pretty
Nice.
damn cool. He also had
Cool.
to patch up Kyle Busch's car because he said Kyle always hits the wall during practice at Darlington. So it was kind of
Well,
expected.
you got to find the limits, you know.
Yeah.
You got to know where it is so then you can never do it again.
Did you make it to the Buckies?
Dude, we did not. It was
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
come
no.
on, man.
So,
We're
I
20 minutes
we
away.
would have gone after the race on Sunday, but I almost died on Sunday from heat exhaustion. So
Mm,
I just
it
kind of
was a
wanted,
hot one out there.
yeah, I just wanted to get back to Dalton's. And dude, the thing is, I had like 4 or 5 beers before the race, and then I just hydrated throughout the whole race. That's all I drank was water, and I still like I had my Apple Watch
Mm,
on. It said your heart rate is rising. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I had a monster like maybe like an hour or two ago. Like maybe that's just it. I'm excited. And then it said like over like 120. I'm like, ooh, okay. Let's kind of keep an eye
yeah.
on that. Started feeling a little dizzy. I went. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go down and get some shade. It was like 10 laps to go. I was like, I don't fucking
Oh,
care.
yeah.
And I saw my heart rate go over 150, and I'm like, ah, that's not fucking good. And I like went into like the like emergency medical center, and I was like, can I sit down? I think I'm dying. And then they gave me a Powerade, and a little bit I felt better, but that southern sun will fuck you up, boys.
Hey,
Yeah.
my friend, when we went to Texas, she spent most of stage one and half of stage two in the medical. She just couldn't get her heart to calm down. Glad she was able to see some of the race, but they'll take care of you. They take good care of you. So two things to bring to the track: bring your ear protection, bring some extra waters if
Yeah,
you're going to the racetrack.
yeah, and maybe a big floppy hat too to give you some shade. Yeah, but I was watching the last 10 laps of that cup race in the medical center with all the like EMS people, and the one lady was like, that damn Hamlin won again, motherfucker.
Danny delivered.
Was it at least air conditioned?
Yes, it was, and it felt very nice.
That's got to be nice.
Yeah.
And your sunscreen. You got to bring your sunscreen. I saw that.
Dude, yeah, I was,
You were pink on one side,
yep,
lily
strawberry and
white on the other
vanilla.
side.
But how about we get into the meat and potatoes of these races here? Let's start off with the Xfinity Series race. Christopher Bell won the pole here. And then how about Harrison Burton? He was really looking flashy during these first two stages. Won stage one. And maybe this team is getting off on the right foot here.
It's good points. Good points for a small team like that. And Harrison's he's been pretty solid all season long. And yeah, to get that stage one, that can go a long ways for that organization as I just keep continuing to grow and to get better.
And that's a really good way for not only AM Racing to build their own stock, but for Harrison to build his stock if he can elevate a team that's been performing well, and then you seize these opportunities when you get it. Put on fresh tires with a few laps to go at the end of stage one, and go out and get 10 extra points. That can help you out. I mean, this team, if they keep doing stuff like that, they could potentially point themselves in when the time comes
Yeah.
for the playoffs.
Harrison is a good Xfinity Series driver. I think this is just going to help both parties here. I think Harrison is
For
going to
sure.
grow with them, and I think AM Racing is just going to get better and better.
Yeah. I mean, he's sitting 10th in points. That's prime real estate to be a bubble driver by the end of the season. And they got to get all the points they can. They know they're not going to go out and compete for these wins each and every week. So if you see an opportunity like that, that's exactly what you got to do.
Yeah, got to go for it. Justin Allgaier wins stage two. We kind of expect that. He is pretty damn good here at Darlington. Had a really cool branch scheme going back to their old trucks that they used to use when the company started. So it's pretty cool that they give a little nod to the company as well. That's what I like about Throwback Weekend too. It doesn't have to go back to an old paint scheme or anything. It can go back to some old logos of these sponsors. So it's cool that a lot of these Xfinity sponsors were able to play more into Throwback Weekend.
For sure, for sure. I mean, for Throwback Weekend as a whole, I mean, I still think it's important that we respect our roots with how much changes in NASCAR, to be able to recognize still where it came from at a historic place like Darlington. It's important.
Yeah. We had Chase Elliott saying that the Throwback Weekend isn't needed anymore, and I really think he just said that because he had the worst throwback paint scheme out of all the drivers.
He was tired of getting dogged on.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not even that important, guys. Like, come on, shut up.
How is this your most popular driver? I don't get it.
But like there's the argument coming from the sponsors, the way the sponsorship model now is. I mean, like these companies get 4 or 5 races a year. Are you gonna, if you're paying that much money, are you gonna want to change your logo to basically bring attention to some old scheme, some old company that is no longer NASCAR? Like, you can understand why the schemes are going away and why some of the schemes are bad. It's like these companies don't want to change their logo. It's much less of a return on investment. Um, but then on the opposite end of that, it makes it all that much more special when you have a really good throwback and it does bring attention to it. I mean, I thought that old Kodak car looked really good. I thought Harrison Burton's car looked really good. Those are recognizable cars, and then they'll get, if they're that recognizable, they'll get more TV time and talk about those sponsors.
Yeah, definitely. All right, and then a guy who has not been having any good luck lately, poor Taylor Gray. He spins and hits the wall. Just 2 bad weeks in a row for this guy. He's hoping to rebound here at Bristol this weekend. And then, guys, how about Brandon Jones, man? We've been dogging this guy all year. Like, oh, yeah, he returned to Joe Gibbs Racing, but it's the same old shit. But here he goes, and he goes up. For some reason, this guy is good against racing bushwhackers. Like, it's insane. When the Cup Series guys come down here, he turns into goddamn Dale Earnhardt. He put a whooping on most of these guys. He was sitting, like, top 3 all day, and then he comes out here and gets a checkered flag, breaks a 90 plus race winless streak.
At 92.
Yeah, good for him to be back in victory lane. That's huge, especially this is a track he's good at too. He's won here before.
Yeah, he had a really poor start to the season, and we were all kind of like, oh, well, we kind of expected this with Brandon Jones. But the last couple of races or so, he's really been putting it on, and he's running where a Joe Gibbs Racing car should be running. He's running up front, and yeah, he's able to capitalize. That's got to feel really good for him to snap that really long winless streak. And I mean, hell, he's got 4 top 10s on the year now. He's only 4 off of his entire number from last year. He only had 8 top 10s last year, and here we are 8 races in, and he's only got four to go to tie it. So, and now he's got the win to go with it. So yeah, he's been running really well lately, and so this really doesn't come as much of a surprise with the speed that team's been showing.
For sure. I mean, he does it on these tracks that everybody always talks about. Our drivers' tracks are very hard. I mean, he gets the win at Pocono. He gets the win at Martinsville. He gets now the win at Darlington. I think is his second win at Darlington. Like these
Yeah.
tracks, they're always on these lists of like, man, the drivers need to be on it. So I think he maybe just struggled with his transition to Chevy, and they never quite got it figured out. The opportunity came back for him to go back to Toyota, bring his money back over to Joe Gibbs, and it's paying off so far. Even if we don't like to say the pay driver, at least the pay driver gets it done. You know, at least this pay driver is not wasting a seat. It may have felt like it for a little bit, but in this weekend, in this instance, he's getting his money worth. He's buying a good car and using the good car to win a race. And you can't clown at him for that, I don't think.
No, absolutely not. And I know we talk about when Brandon Jones wins a race, it's usually because he lucked his way into one. He didn't luck his way into this one. He had a car to beat, and he was up front all day, and this one was well deserved. Now let's see if the 20 team can keep building on this momentum, and we can stay away from the Brandon Jones of old.
They moved up 7 points or 7 spots in the standings, and obviously lock into the playoffs too. So now they can take more chances, go for more points at the end of stages. Maybe they'll go for more wins later in the season and just try to build up that rep to let them go deeper in the playoffs. You got to win early. You got to win early, and Brandon Jones is going to take care of it. Pressure's off now. He can just go out and run his own races.
Yeah, that is a real bright side for Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series because their other drivers have not been having a good time. Taylor Gray with the bad luck, and William Sawalich, man, he's sitting all the way down in 22nd in points. Just not a good start to his rookie campaign in the Xfinity Series. I kind of thought he would be a little bit better here, but he's getting outrun by guys like Brennan Poole and Dean Thompson and Josh Williams here.
But it's growing pains, right? I mean, you go in ARCA, you're the creme de la creme, you're the top of the top in ARCA, and then you go straight to Xfinity. It's kind of tough. Like these guys, I mean, you got people in here who've been running these cars for years and years. They're just going to be better. They're going to know. He's going to learn. The expectations of a Brandon Jones who just had 2 bad years at Junior Motorsports is going to be way different than the expectations of a young William Sawalich trying to get his feet wet in this stock car series. Yes, a Joe Gibbs car should be performing better, but I expect to see him to start climbing those standings soon.
You would hope, yeah. All right, so congrats to Brandon Jones. Thanks for proving us wrong for this year. We'll see if you can keep that winless streak up starting next year.
Congrats to Nick on the points for Xfinity.
Oh my goodness, you're running away with it. I don't even want to talk about the points. I still am so upset with what happened in Homestead, where I was about to like finish first in all 3 of those races, and then something Corey Haim's truck shut off, and then Kyle Larson got his wheels lifted up on the restart, and then I forget what happened in the Cup race, but like, oh, Blaney blew up. Blaney was fast and he blew up. I was supposed to go 3 for 3 that weekend, and then oh my goodness, I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, so... Nick's beating me by 130 points right now in the system that I created.
Yeah. So, yeah, Nick's up 335 points. I'm in second with 240, so you're 95 points ahead of me, you fucker.
Yeah.
And then, Tom, you're at 205.
Look, it's a long season. We'll catch up. I hope.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how this works. I'm bound to slump it sooner or later. I just keep picking the same guys over and over again, and it keeps working for me. That's been my strategy.
At work today, I had 8 tabs open. I was looking at stats and recent races of Bristol and lineups and who does well in the spring. And I'm putting notes in my phone. I'm trying to connect the dots and put the little tacks and tie the strings everywhere. I'm going to catch up. I'm going to win all 3. I'm not going to pick winners, but I'm going to win all 3 this week.
Just going to go for
and I went. I could have won
second every time.
I could have won those Cup points too, man. My original pick was the 11, and I had faith in Kyle Busch. I don't know why. I made a mistake.
You shouldn't do that.
I shouldn't do that. I was just feeling good about it, man.
Hey, I mean, I had the same thought when Brandon Jones came across the line. They said it broke a winless streak. I was like, hey, man, driver's track.
Well, that's the only reason I switched
just
from...
go break your winless streak. He ran well in the fall at the Southern 500. Why not? Slow.
Yeah.
Sad.
Well, Kyle finished top 10, so Dalton looked at it as a big positive because Kyle hasn't gotten much of those.
You're right. I'm happy with the top 10s this year. I think that's our 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
Not terrible, but I can look right here. Where are we? 15th in points, 4 top 10s. So
not terrible, but it can be better.
What's frustrating about Kyle's top 10s throughout the year is that they come after running 12th to 15th or 12th to 20th in all the stages. So they're not getting anything extra. They just kind of work their way up to the front of the end. It's frustrating.
Well, we'll see how he fares out at Bristol. But, guys, let's talk the Cup Series race at Darlington. William Byron won the pole, and that was just a sign of what was going to come. Because, goddamn, I swear to God, remember that T-Rex car that they told Jeff Gordon you'd never bring that shit back? They brought it back, baby, and holy crap. That car was damn fast.
Fucking ass whooping for a majority of this race. It was like nobody could catch him. You couldn't do anything to William Byron. He was just... See you later.
It felt like Truex in the 2017 Coke 600.
But when he caught up to the back end of the field, he struggled to get around those cars, and that gap lessened. So, yeah, he was fantastic in clean air. And then as the race went on, we kind of saw those struggles come to fruition when he was not in the lead. And ultimately, yeah, they made a bad strategy call towards the end of the race, but I don't think they had the speed and traffic to hang on to it. Not with the way Blaney was driving through the field, with Reddick driving through the field. So it would have been cool. If you're going to lead the first 247, I guess it would have been cool to see the perfect race. But we didn't get that.
Yeah, we did not. Kyle Larson won Best in Show with his amazing Tony the Tiger Frosted Flakes throwback scheme to Terry Labonte, but it didn't last long because he wrecked on lap 4. Greatest driver, my ass, man. He just spun out by himself exiting turn 2.
that poor, great looking race car destroyed right away. That was painful to see.
Yep.
And what do we say about Kyle Larson? Always. What do we say?
Checkers or wreckers.
Here's a record.
Checkers
But
the
this
record.
was
I
lap
mean, again,
4.
yeah, exactly. He puts it on the edge, and he's pushing, and they know they got to get up in track position, make passes early, and he had confidence in his car that the car didn't have it itself, and he lost it, and it sucks. But I mean, I guess we got to see for the first time in a while, car go 160 laps down and come back on the track. So
Yeah,
um,
man. It's been a while.
yeah, that car, if last year even that car goes back on the hauler,
That
and Kyle
car,
Larson watches the end of the race from home.
that
Um,
car changed the outcome of this race.
yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
there's a reson why the damaged vehicle policy came into play, and I kind of want it back now, to be honest.
yeah, I think he got a little help at that instance too. But I mean, this is the NASCAR old. I mean, this is kind of the way you appease the old fans and whatnot, and it's going to happen. I mean, a rule is a rule, and everybody followed the rules, and stuff happens. They need to. They're going to go in deep in the playoffs. If Kyle Larson crashes out somewhere, they're going to need to put that car back together and get as many points as possible. Um, Kyle Larson lost out on the regular season championship by 1 point, so they're working hectically on that car to potentially see more cars wreck out later with more than 160 laps to go, I guess, and then they can pass them on the final couple laps, get 2 points.
Yeah.
Every point matters. Ultimately, it didn't work out for him, and it wildly affected the ending of this race. Probably not for the best.
Yeah.
Hey, it worked out for me.
Yeah, I'd say so. William Byron won stage 1, and then this was a weird one. Brad Keselowski spun, and then there was debris on the track. Drivers were calling for it, and NASCAR didn't call a caution until about 2-3 laps later. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but Eric Jones was coming down pit road. Right when they called the caution, that's when he entered, and he couldn't take his pit. And they were about to penalize him, but they realized that was their own damn fault, so they actually redacted that penalty
Interesting.
for Eric Jones. But that's just NASCAR playing their bullshit of like, all right, let's wait this out. And Brad Keselowski spun, and he was slow on the track. There was obviously a problem, and they let a dangerous situation happen.
I mean, his wheel could have fallen off every time. I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys knew this at the racetrack, but Fox had a great slow-mo shot of that wheel nut falling out from behind the car.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter.
And that was the debris that ultimately caused the caution. But like, they could see that. They know it's a wheel nut on the track. You know, they got the corner marshals there. I mean, Brad's wheel could have come off, and that's a caution. And that's the problem. If they're trying to like manipulate when the caution comes out, yes, they're in the middle of a pit cycle. We saw this a couple of years ago in Atlanta, where I think Michael McDowell and William Byron spun out entering the pit lane, and they never threw the caution. And I was dumbfounded. As there's two cars sitting broadside on the apron at that track, and same here. This car spun out. There's debris on the track, and he has a potential of a wheel falling off. How is that not an immediate caution? It's the middle of the pitch cycle. Shit happens. Martinsville. I mean, Shane Van Gisbergen affected the end of the race because he spun out, lost a wheel in the middle of the pit cycle. It's the same situation on paper.
Yep.
Hit the button. Hit the button when that car goes spinning sideways. I don't care. It's part of the racing. It's the luck of the draw. You decide to pit late, stay out, keep your track position. You pit it early, win a lap down. That's tough. And I don't think NASCAR should be. If we talk about we want NASCAR to make balls and strikes, they can't even call a ball on a strike.
Yeah, that's for sure. But inconsistent as usual for NASCAR.
And talk about affecting the end of the race. This affected the end of the race just as much as Kyle Larson did in the final 4 laps.
Yeah.
I mean, it flipped the field track position. Denny Hamlin was going to be nowhere close to the front of this race without that caution right there in stage 2.
It's very true. William Byron won stage 2, and then Josh Berry spins after contact with the 45 exiting turn 2. Real unfortunate for that 21. He has been on a roll this season. Would have been cool to get a good finish with that throwback he had with that 21, but always can't come out with a good looking vehicle. William Byron, man, he waited way too long to pit, and he lost a lot of track position, and this is what killed the race for him. He was not able to come back into the lead. But that 45 and 12, they had a good fight for the finish here.
It was
Almost.
amazing to see Blaney cut through the field like
Flying,
nobody
absolutely
else could.
flying.
They were highlighting it on TV, and when they first pointed out he was like down 15 seconds or something, like, come on, he's not going to gain 15 seconds the last 40 laps, and he did it. He even gained 15 seconds the last 36 laps, and there was 40 to go. So I mean, it was just a really impressive drive. And again, if Byron had that ability, yeah, wait as long as you can and take the tire advantage later. But you saw that car struggling to get around lap traffic early in the race. It just wasn't going to work. They should have just
Oh
reacted
yeah, as soon as he
to
made
pit
that,
when
as soon as
the
he
other people
stopped,
pitted.
as soon as he stopped, like he could just never rebound. He was just stuck in the mud.
No. And also, when that final caution eventually does come out, and I know we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but that car had never been in traffic until then. They didn't know what adjustments they needed to make, so it kind of shot him in the foot for that final restart.
Yeah. And then we were already talking about it. A mistake made by Larson, maybe a little help as well, with Tyler Reddick hitting the wall in front of him and then Bubba Wallace slamming into the rear of him. But it was kind of weird move by Kyle Larson. He slid right in front of that 23, and then it just seemed like he just kind of brake checked him. It was a really odd situation with what happened with the 5 and the 23.
Yeah, I mean, he saw the 45 up in the wall, and he just gave it. He just decided to let up, and the 23 kind of ran through him. It was an odd thing. I don't see anything nasty about this. I don't think, obviously, if Bubba was trying to spin somebody out because his teammate lost the lead, it didn't work. They didn't ultimately get the win, but I don't see any malice behind it. It's just he didn't expect the checkup, and Larson, I guess, wasn't sure how his car would react. Maybe he thought there might be stuff. I don't know. It was a weird situation. Uh, Heart breaks for Blaney.
Yeah,
He does all that work to drive through the field, and the moment he takes the lead and is going to drive off with it, it gets there. And he lost like 20 something positions on pit road all day, so he probably knew at that moment his day was done.
Oh, yeah. All the 12 fans knew it, that this was over for him. All right, and then we had some late pit stops here with the late caution, and Denny Hamlin's crew won him this race. What a fast pit stop. He came out first, and then Denny did what he does at this track and just make it his bitch. That is Denny at Darlington. He is so damn good here, and he put that Carl Edwards throwback into victory lane. Too bad he didn't do a backflip,
no,
because that would have been so cool.
I don't think it's too bad that he didn't do a backflip. I think we would have been, if Denny attempted a backflip, I think we would have been
looking for a new
driver
driver
death in
for the
NASCAR.
11.
Yeah. Yeah, like the first death since Dale Earnhardt, because Denny tried to inexplicably do a backflip that he's never done before.
Holy
Ugh,
shit! No, the
ugh.
pit crew all day for the 11 was getting him spots on pit road, and they delivered in crunch time when it mattered most. And yeah, once that restart happened, Denny he took off, and there was no catching him. He was long gone. And hey, I just love to see it. This is back-to-back wins for us now. After okay start to the season, but they've been executing. Denny definitely didn't have the fastest car in this race, but his team executed at the right moment, and he caught a break, and he made the most of it. Went to victory lane. He's been on the flip side of this before. Last year at Nashville, he was leading when Austin Cindric brought out that caution. He wound up losing the race. So really nice to see. Just keep building points now. And hey, we're going to another really good racetrack for Denny Hamlin this weekend. Who won the spring race last year at Bristol? Momentum's
11 against the
riding.
world.
11 against the world. Momentum's riding high, and yeah, I'm one happy camper. I wish I would have just stayed with him with my original pick. I literally picked Denny Hamlin for our pick. For some reason, I went against it.
I didn't know that your pick had changed because I was just going off the chat. So we need to make a points adjustment a little bit here.
Oh shit!
Because I've granted you the win and an extra 5 bonus points. So we'll need to make some adjustments before we start our next section. But that being said, like this is the epitome of NASCAR racing, and we saw all three of it once. Sometimes you see a guy dominate most of the race, if not all the race. Sometimes you see a guy who just had long run speed and comes through the field late and takes over. And sometimes there's a late caution and it comes down to the pit crews and getting it done on the restart. And I feel like we saw all three of those today or Sunday with the race. Uno, can you chill, please? And it was just it's just how it happens sometimes. So I don't have any problem. I know people are probably frustrated with how this race went. They're probably frustrated seeing Denny win again. Even what is it more? Is it more frustrating to watch a race like Martinsville where if you're not a Denny fan and you see Denny dominate the whole race, and it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to win, or is it extra frustrating to just see him like back into it in the last 5 laps?
Yes.
I don't know.
That's the answer from Denny haters. Just yes.
Definitely, Byron fans are saying it's more frustrating to watch him back into one. But I don't know. I think a lot of people don't want to see Denny.
That's literally William Byron's career summed up as back in after back in after back in.
That's more Alex.
We don't need to get into that.
On,
but Denny did say that they're ordering replica trophies for all his pit crew because he said they should have a trophy from this race at home, and I wholeheartedly agree. It's an aspect of the sport, and get those guys some trophies. They deserve every bit of it. They got them out when they needed to, and Denny was able to do the rest.
Yeah,
good win. And we see this from Joe Gibbs Racing. I mean, Christopher Bell led 1 lap at Atlanta. He passed Kyle Busch late at Coda, and then his third one happened. Didn't really set the world on fire there either, but he did it. And then again, Denny dominates at Martinsville. I mean, Martinsville's the only race that Joe Gibbs really dominated. They've been running the back. They've been kind of struggling, but they know how to finish races and they know how to be close at the end for stuff like this to happen. So Joe Gibbs Racing looking really good, but I wonder if that foundation's built on pile of sand. Yeah, I'm not ready to put all my chips in the Joe Gibbs Racing basket.
Five wins out of the first 8 races. Looking stout.
Yeah,
but I mean, look how they performed in the second half of last year too. They didn't win a race after June, so that's a little bit. I'm skeptical still of the actual speed that Toyota had. I mean, once Penske figures out their pit crew and their equipment problem, look out,
dude. It all went downhill.
Ryan Blaney could still win 10 races this year if they get their shit together. I mean, he blew 2 engines, and then his pit crew lost him 30 spots on pit road this weekend. You fix those 2 issues in the shop and in practice throughout the week. Blaney looks scary fast this year.
Oh yeah, it all went downhill last year at Nashville for Joe Gibbs Racing. Like you said, Denny was so close to getting that win, and that caution is literally what changed history for last year. Because without that caution, we would not have a Joey Logano championship.
Joey Logano and Joseph Newgarden and the Penske IMSA car were parked on the White House lawn today and being honored by the President of the United States. Like, that was a history-changing caution. And, I mean, it could change the trajectory of NASCAR. I mean, there's still rumors that they could change the playoff format for the 2026 season. So that could be a history-changing caution in way more ways than one. I mean, you could argue that
it could be bittersweet.
Dillon to do what he did at Richmond, and I don't know. It changes the outcome of the last year's playoffs for sure. So Penske, again, they figured out at the end of the season, and Joe Gibbs, I'd rather be the team that figures it out at the end of the season than the team that kind of slides into a few wins early on, I think, especially if you're talking about the powerhouse teams.
Yeah, I'd totally agree with that. I mean, playoffs mean everything nowadays. Those last 10 races mean more than the first 26. But guys, I think that is a good spot for us to take a break. When we come back, we'll be making our picks for Bristol, so stay tuned. We are here to make our picks for Bristol Motor Speedway this weekend. All 3 series will be running, so let's start off with our truck picks for the Weather Guard truck race at Bristol. 133 miles, 250 laps. Stages 1 and 2 are 65 laps each, and the final will be 120 laps. Last year's winners, we had Christian Eckes in the spring. He is now up in the Xfinity Series with Colleague Racing, and Lane Riggs in the fall. He is still with Front Row Motorsports. Some notables that we got in this one: Brandon Jones will be in that one for Tricon. Kyle Larson will be in the 07 for Spire Motorsports, and Parker Kligerman will be in that 75 for Henderson Motorsports. So Nick, you are off. You are going to be picking first. Who you got, buddy?
I am going to go with the guy who probably should have won the last 2 Truck Series races. He had the issues mechanically at Homestead where the truck just kept shutting off on him when he should have won that race. And then he dominated Martinsville up until he got taken out by Caden Honeycutt. So I'll have to go with Corey Heim. This truck he's just been too fast all season long, and it feels like when he doesn't have any issues, he is always the guy to beat. So I think he's going to get back on track this weekend and go to victory lane at Bristol.
I think that's always a safe pick to pick with really any racetrack in Corey Heim. I'm going to go a different direction here. I'm going to pick a former Truck Series winner at Bristol who races for a new team, which is also a former Truck Series winner at Bristol. And if you put those 2 dots together, that's Chandler Smith. I think this will be his front row coming out party, so to speak. He knows how to get it done here before, and I know Front Row Motorsports can make some fast trucks.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to stay in the same camp with Front Row Motorsports. I got to go with Lane Riggs. He won here in the fall. We saw last year, late in the season, that he just started going off, getting a bunch of wins, and maybe he will get that first one of the season here at Bristol.
We're about to finish 1, 2, 3, aren't we?
Yeah, we will. We know that.
And I'll get 0 points again for a 3rd place finish.
All right, well, let's move over to the Xfinity Series. We got the SciAps 300, 160 miles, 300 laps. Stages 1 and 2 are 85 laps each, and the final will be 130 laps. Our previous winners here, Cole Custer in the fall. He's up in the Cup Series now, and there was no spring race since 2020. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Our only notable coming in here, really big one, Kyle Larson. He is going for the sweep this weekend. We know a few weeks ago at Homestead, he came up 1 race short. So Kyle Larson will be my pick for the Xfinity Series race on Saturday.
Doesn't he have an IndyCar race to prepare for or something? Or a dirt race to go to? Is he doing all this? Is this what it felt like to be not a Kyle Busch fan?
Yeah.
It wasn't fun.
Okay. That's fair. No, I mean, again, Kyle Larson in the race at Bristol. I mean, he's won 2 Cup races there already. Like, gotta like him, right? You gotta like him for all 3 of these races, right?
Yeah, any Cup Series driver that pretty much comes down here, you feel like you gotta go for him.
I'm gonna go similar in experience. The last 3 races, this guy has finished top 10 in all 3. He's the only one to do so. And that's going to be Ryan Sieg. I'm going to pick Ryan Sieg for a 2nd time this year, but Bristol is more of an equalizer track. It's how you set up the car and how you race the track and navigate all the chaos. And so I'm going to go with the veteran Ryan Sieg and that little team to maybe not win, but run really well.
Yeah, I like it. That'd be a great pick.
Continue the top 10 speed.
All right, so Nick, who is your pick for Saturday?
I'm going Mr. All Reliable when it comes down to picking for the Xfinity Series, and it's worked out for me almost every time that I've picked them. I'm going with the 7-car Justin Allgaier. He won this race back in the fall of 2023, and he's just like Corey Heim in the Truck Series. Justin Allgaier is pretty much just always a safe pick every racetrack we go to. So I expect him to be up there giving Kyle Larson a run for his money. And hopefully it ends with the 7-car in victory lane.
Yeah.
Nick, I love having this this chart now I can just read from. Nick picked Allgaier in Vegas, 1. Nick picked Allgaier in Homestead, 1. Nick picked Allgaier in Martinsville, 3rd.
Ah.
So, but Allgaier Martinsville Xfinity 3rd was the winning pick. So you're maxing out your Allgaier points. we he got Ian. He got to pick 3rd, and we left Allgaier on the table for him. Maybe we should just start picking Allgaier before Nick.
Oh man, we're doing it to ourselves, man.
Yeah, no, exactly. We're asking to be down by this many points.
Oh man.
Okay, well, maybe at least Allgaier's not running the Cup race, right? So
Yeah. All right, well, let's move over to Sunday for the Food City 500, 267-mile race, 500 laps. Stages 1 and 2 are 125 laps each, and the final will be 250. Our previous winners here, Denny Hamlin won in that wacky race where we saw a bunch of tires blowing in the spring last year, and Kyle Larson won here in the fall. Guys, are we going to see anything we saw last spring? Is it kind of up in the air because we saw an amazing race last spring and probably the most boring Bristol race ever last fall? What could happen this weekend? We don't know. All we know is there's no dirt here.
I don't think we see the race. I really think temperature had the spring race repeat itself. I think the temperature had a lot to do with it, and I don't think it'll be that cool for the tires to wear the way they did. Unfortunately, I think that was an anomaly. The lightning struck the bottle, but we did not close the lid. So unfortunately, I think we're going to see pretty straightforward next-gen Bristol race, which might be pretty frustrating.
Yeah. So let's make our picks. I will be going first, and I got to go with the guy who's gotten 2 wins in a row already. And he is pretty damn good here at Bristol as well. I got to go with that number 11 of James Dennis Hamlin. He's just too good to pass up right now. And Nick, I know during our break, I said Hamlin. You were like, damn it. You had to go looking now.
Denny against the world, 11 against the world. We're going for a 3-peat. I would love it.
Could you imagine 2 Joe Gibbs Racing drivers winning 3 in a row in such quick succession? That would be odd. I wouldn't have that on my bingo card.
Winning 6 of the first 9 races would be nice.
I am looking at the weather, and right now it says Sunday in Bristol. It's going to rain in the morning, and then by 1 p.m. it should be clear. I mean, it's a low chance of rain, so it might be cool enough. I mean, I feel like we were in the 40s last year at that Bristol race. It's supposed to be a high of 63 right now, but the race could start in the mid-50s, and it could be a green track, so it could eat some tires.
I like the sound of that.
But again, this is Google weather, and who knows how accurate it is a week out. But anyway, Nick, who you got?
When we were talking about I got stumped for a while, and I came up with a guy. I'm not gonna pick that guy anymore. I did this last week, changed it at the last minute, and it bit me in the ass. I don't think it's gonna do that to me this week. This guy got left open, and I'm gonna take him. I'm taking the 5-car of Kyle Larson to win at Bristol on Sunday. You go back to 2021. He has 5 top 5s here at this track, 2 of those being wins, and the lowest finish of 5th in these races. So it's pretty damn good here. And he was left on the table, and he was too juicy to pass up. I hope it doesn't bite me in the ass this week.
You guys are being boring. You pick Denny, who's won 2 of the last 3 at Bristol, and Larson, who's got 2 Bristol wins himself, who he said is a threat to win every week. Come on, you got to think outside the box. You got to think. I'm thinking we're gonna have a Matt DiBenedetto race or a Bubba Wallace race where somebody you're not quite expecting who can run well, but hasn't. I mean, but they have been recently, and I'm gonna go with a Ford. We saw a first-time Ford winner with RFK. I think we're going to get another one with Ryan Preece. I think Ryan Preece he's been running really well. He's been running up front on speed. That 60 car has speed. he's sitting in the playoff position right now in points. I think he's going to lock himself in and go get a win in the 60 car.
I think that'd be a really fan favorite win right there. Ryan,
sure.
He's been in some dog shit equipment the past couple of years, and now he's finally in a car he can go compete in. And look at what he's doing. He's doing a great job so far. So I think this one would go over very well with the NASCAR crowd.
I mean, if people like the Josh Berry win, I can't imagine why they wouldn't like a Ryan Preece win. It's very similar paths the way they came up. I mean, Ryan Preece doesn't have all the money to bring the track. He had to splice together these random 5 Joe Gibbs racings just to get racing starts in the Xfinity, just to get seen, and then comes up through the cars he did. Now he's in a more competitive car. RFK hasn't been as fast as we may have expected to them, but we've consistently see the 60 car running up in the top 5, the top 10. And I think, why not? Why Bristol equalizes, like I said, with Ryan Sieg. I'll go with another Ryan and Ryan Preece.
Yeah, I think that's a smart pick right there. Ryan Preece, he's been going through a lot the past few years. He's been upside down on his lid quite a few times, so he'd rather be in victory lane than flipping through the air. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, maybe he should just take it easy up the victory lane ramp. We don't need any.
We don't need a disaster on our hands.
No.
But guys, I think that will about wrap it up for our show here. Anything else to add before we head to Bristol?
11 against the world.
11 against the world. I'm excited to. Even if the Cup race does not turn out like spring last year, I still think Bristol, iconic track. Hell, if the MLB wants to go play a game in there, you should tune in and watch these races here. There's a reason everybody loves going to Bristol. Even if the races are boring, it's still entertaining. It's still a good show.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, thanks for tuning into our show here. If you haven't yet, make sure to like and subscribe to our show and check out the links down below. So that'll do it for us. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Nick Kinsel.
And I'm Tom Hobley.
And we'll see you guys next time. Enjoy Bristol.